Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again have a look at some of the games coming out for the Switch in this upcoming week. In terms of dates, we'll be going from the 27th of April up until the 3rd of May to see if there's anything coming out that's worth your time and money. So which games are coming out for the Switch this week? Well, let's find out.
This episode was sponsored by the publisher of Tell Me Your Story. This is an adventure puzzle game I've been playing for the last couple of days, and it focuses on the main protagonist, Amelia, who is a schoolgirl with a very vivid imagination, who's heading out on her summer vacation to her Grandma Rose's cottage, joined as always by her best mate, Peanut. Now the house itself almost acts as one of the characters here, with the different rooms and areas telling their own story. It also takes place in many other areas around the world such as Asia, Europe and even the Amazon rainforest. By the way, Peanut is your little corgi dog. Now the reason you end up in all these different places is because you're following in Rose's footsteps, almost like a retelling of her life's adventures that aims to kind of link those two generations together. It's a very minimalist experience, has small minimalist puzzles, it's got a really nice chill soundtrack. Stick this one on your wish list if you like the look of it. It will have a promotional price down to $2.99 or your regional equivalent before it goes back up to its usual price of $10.99. In America that sale goes on until the 16th of May and in the EU you're looking at the 26th of May. Once again, a big thanks to the publisher for sponsoring this episode. All the links to that will be down in the description.
So the first game coming out this week then is Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron HD Remaster. This released for the PS3 and Xbox 360 back in 2011 and is a single player action game where players take on the role of Enoch, sent by God to find 7 fallen angels and save humanity from a great flood. It calls itself an ever-changing, endless visual experience, with the aim being to provide a canvas-like world that changes in an organic way as long as you progress your adventure. You'll be jumping, attacking, guarding and stealing weapons on your way through the game, but it promises deep mechanics and a profound, precise and rewarding timing-based action experience. This newer version of the game includes full HD support, optimised loading and optimisation in general, and it also mentions digital versions of the post-ending novel Lucifer's Fall and of the art book are included. This will cost £17.99 or your regional equivalent and it releases on the 28th. Next then we have something cheap and potentially cheerful. This is The Fall of Elena Temple. This calls itself an old school puzzle platformer in which you explore rooms, avoid perils and collect all of the coins in order to progress. The difference here though is that you can undo your falls, so in terms of the gameplay sometimes you'll actually be falling on purpose in order to get coins that are otherwise unobtainable and then be able to undo that fall back to where you were. The rub of course is that there are a finite amount of times you can do this per level, and if you're not paying attention you'll not be able to get yourself back to the top and therefore need to start the level again. There are 20 puzzle rooms to challenge, 3 bonus rooms as well, and it's presented in a Game Boy style, I think it's called Grim Boy, and is selling for just £2.69, which could potentially be a reasonable purchase. This one is out on the 30th. We also have Before the Green Moon. This is a science fiction farming simulation game set in a small community at the base of a space elevator during the days and seasons leading up to your departure for the moon. It promises relaxing farming simulation gameplay. It says it's an aesthetic and mechanical throwback to early farm sim games, and you can create your own character and explore the local community. There is a 24-hour day-night cycle with dynamic weather according to the blurb, and you'll need to adapt to the region's rainy and dry seasons in terms of what you produce. This is another one that releases on the 30th and it will cost £8.99 or your regional equivalent. Next then is Tales from Candleforth. This describes itself as a folk horror 2D point and click game where you'll be solving puzzles and outsmarting the room's mechanics that are bleeding out from an ancient book. It goes on to say that Tales from Candleforth is a collection of fairy tales that were written on top of a forbidden book many years ago to hide its content. Years later, the dark text is bleeding out onto the pages of the tales, mixing with them and twisting the stories. This is where you come in as a young girl trying to put this right. That certainly sounds interesting actually. I didn't quite understand what the blurb said when I first read it, but I do like the idea of fairy tales being distorted and twisted by the words of an evil book bleeding into the stories themselves. Again, it's out on the 30th and it will cost £9.99. Following on from that then we have Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs, and this is the Deluxe edition. So this version of Pac-Man is an online only affair, being a Pac-Man eating competition. You'll need to eat your way through multiple interconnected mazes using power pellets and a variety of power items to chomp the ghosts and the opposition Pac-Man players. It's a 64 player battle royale basically, with you aiming to come out on top. And as I mentioned, this is the Deluxe edition, which comes with a couple of other packs, the Namco Pals pack and the Lunar Animals pack. Now I think Bandai Namco have gone down the route that a few companies do of releasing the bundle or Deluxe edition first and then a week later releasing the standard edition. I've just had a look and yes, that is the case. The standard edition will come out next week, obviously for a reduced price, but minus the other bits and bobs if you're not particularly interested in those. This bundle version then releases on the 1st and it will sell for £24.99. We then have Full Metal Sergeant, which must have the smallest blurb in the history of the Nintendo eShop. It says, "Be the drill instructor, insult recruits with no remorse, can you transform flabby recruits into lean war machines within 12 weeks? That's as far as it goes. Judging by the trailer, it has that top-down look, and it appears as if it's almost like a management sim to some degree, with you obviously training those recruits up to get them in line for battle within that time period mentioned. I'm assuming there'll be a number of ways to do this, each using up a number of points, amounts of energy, or hours in the day, and having various effects on your recruits in terms of their key stats." Obviously the title's referring to Full Metal Jacket, the Stanley Kubrick film, with Ali Ermey's unbelievable performance in that particular role, and this one is out on the 1st, selling for £8.99 or your regional equivalent. Next is Space Mercenary Defense Force, which challenges you to survive the cosmic onslaught by upgrading and equipping a vast arsenal of modular weaponry. You'll need to defend against an alien invasion and take down the mothership in joyously hectic roguelite style, according to the blurb, and it goes on to call itself a tactical sci-fi action shooter. There are over 600 weapon upgrades with branching advancement paths, making each run unique, as you try to survive enemy swarms in tactical roguelite action. You can equip modular tech to your directional weapon slots on the fly, and you'll need to take down bosses and complete objectives for valuable rewards. Another game that's selling for quite a good price actually, just £4.49 or your regional equivalent, seems to be the theme of the week actually. Smaller, more modestly priced releases, and this one is out on the 1st of May. The exception to the rule I just mentioned this week, I guess, with Endless Ocean Luminous being the biggest release of the week. So Endless Ocean is a series that started on the Wii, I believe it was. There were 2 games on the Wii in this particular series, and they were very relaxing games where you explore the depths of the ocean. It says here you'll take a deep breath and plunge into the Veiled Sea, an unexplored region with discoveries that change with each dive. Encounter and learn about 500 species of marine life, some of which are presumed extinct or even mythical. If this is anything like the other games, then it will be very enjoyable, I'm sure. I played the second one, I think it was, and did really enjoy that one. And this one, it says you can play online for up to 30 players, and it does mention on the eShop, if you do buy the game from there, you can get a free 7-day trial of the Nintendo Switch Online app as well. Just something to bear in mind, I guess. Anyway, this one releases on the 2nd, and it will cost £39.99 or your regional equivalent.
Up to 30 players online can plunge into the ocean's depths together. Share your discoveries with other divers and exchange a friendly greeting while freely exploring.
The penultimate game for the week then is Sclash. This is a 2D samurai fighting game full of tension where one hit is enough to kill. You play as a hand-drawn samurai in beautiful painted settings, fighting your opponent in epic solemn duels, so says the blurb, and it says that it's easy to pick up but hard to master. I suppose it's similar to, was it Bushido Blade back in the day that had a similar premise, of those more realistic fighting duels where one hit was enough to kill your opponent, or you of course, and it says you'll choose between 5 characters and battle offline or online in 16 beautiful stages to unlock 50 plus skins for your samurais. It promises a story inspired by Japanese culture in the story mode, and again, as I mentioned, quite a decent price this week of £8.99, releasing on the 2nd.
You know nothing of the pact that binds us!
You can't survive my wrath!
And finally for the week then we have SOWON, the Toy Wonderland. I'm wondering if that's meant to be pronounced SOWON, as it does look to have a Halloween-esque vibe to it. That could be a nice little play on words. Either way though, it says it's an adventure game about the titular SOWON, a girl who accidentally finds herself in a world of toys where players must search each corner of the map for hints before venturing into a world full of enigmatic riddles. It promises a beautiful but peculiar world with a clay-like aesthetic to it, where you'll meet all sorts of dolls and toys living in this world. You'll need to solve puzzles, and there are mini-games as well, as SOWON attempts to find her parents who have disappeared through a mysterious door in their attic. This one releases on the 2nd and it will sell for £8.09, or again, your regional equivalent. So there you have it, another week of Nintendo Switch releases. Do any of these games interest you at all? Will you be picking any of them up? Do let us know in the comment section below. I did have to record this a bit earlier than usual in the week, which does always mean there's a chance other games have since dropped onto the eShop that would have been in this video otherwise. If that is the case, if there's anything of note, please do stick it in the comment section below and I'll make sure it goes at the beginning of next week's video. Don't forget, if you are looking for eShop credit to pick any of these games up, you can get your eShop cards via our website switchup.gg. Doing so will get you 5% of your purchase price back in cashback. You can then use that against a future purchase. And there are some links down there to places such as Play Asia, Premium Edition Games, and Red Art Games, as well as places where you can pick up Joy-Cons, all sorts of links down there. Use the code STATED and you'll get yourself a discount off of any purchases you make with those particular stores. A quick thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.